Well, hi, everybody. This is Alx Uttermann from UCBK, the Universal Church of Baba's Kitchen. And we're going to talk about the Holy Womb Chakra. It's a very important energy center in the human body that is not very well discussed or very well known. And we'll explore that subject, and I'll be walking you through a slideshow to explain a little bit more about the depth of what is this system, what is this energy center, this chakra in the human system, and how does it operate? So I made this video presentation some years ago when I was extremely concerned about younger women and their extreme heartbreak from all kinds of relationships. And I thought to make this presentation to young women, especially, about how to heal the drama in their relationships using the power of the womb chakra. So that's why this is titled that. It's by no means the only function of the womb chakra. You can enter the subject of the womb chakra from many different angles and dimensions. That just seemed like an easy way to bring up the subject and start to discuss the power of the Holy Womb Chakra. So please by no means feel that healing the drama in relationships is the only function, use, or commentary on the role of the womb chakra in our lives. So with that said, here we go. So where are relationship dramas coming from? And this means all relationship dramas, right? We could have family of origin dramas and traumas. We could have friendship dramas or business work relationship issues, or of course, the heartbreaks and the ups and downs of romantic relationships and or of spiritual relationships. Where are they coming from? Could it be karma? Yeah, but of course, it's always karma. Where is the karma coming from? And if you know anything about karma, it is the principle of what goes around comes around. It's also Newton's second law of thermodynamics. For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Karma itself, it's not emotional, it's not personal, it's not punitive, negative karma, that is. We also, of course, have great karmas. Karma simply means action, and action to reaction. However, when we're facing drama in this lifetime or in this particular moment of this lifetime, it's an effect from some other cause, from some other time. Where is that karma coming from? Wow. One of the biggest karmas that we can talk about has to do with heartbreak. And it's deeply related to the subject of karmic reflection, or the reaction to our actions. Heartbreak, it's an interesting subject. It's linked, of course, to this mystical thing called the womb chakra that we'll get into. Heartbreak is also the biggest sort of source point of all of our karmas, our traumas, our pain. Symptoms of heartbreak, which are usually in the West, we don't associate these symptoms with the word heartbreak. Heartbreak for us usually, not always, but usually has to do with romantic relationships. Oh, we had a big breakup, there was a big heartbreak. But heartbreak can include any kind of loss, any kind of trauma, any kind of shock to the human system. It could be someone grew up in a war zone, or it could be the loss of a loved one at a very young age, or it could be family trauma, from the family system inflicted on someone. It could be betrayal of any kind, maybe betrayal by a good friend, or betrayal by a lover, or betrayal in business, or one's professional aspirations didn't get met. I live in Los Angeles, land of the film industry and the music industry, and there's plenty of heartbreak here. People come with their dreams to be something in those industries, and by the time it's clear maybe they're not going to be a top Hollywood star, that's a heartbreak for many people. So heartbreak can take a lot of different faces, and its symptoms, and this is by no means comprehensive, but they can include depression, anxiety, fear, PTSD, like a frozen heartbreak that's stuck in the system, a trauma that just keeps replaying over and over again. Feeling stuck in one's life can be a big symptom of heartbreak. Addiction issues of any kind, or addictive behaviors of any kind. Someone who cannot choose a good partner, they keep choosing abusive partners, or people who are just not a good fit, or kind of, losers, as the common term goes, or feeling incredibly unworthy, having a strong sense of unworthiness or low self-esteem, having a closed heart. Often a super heartbroken person will become quite cynical, right, and bitter. It's a reasonable response to a number of heartbreaks in life. Or suspicious and untrusting, classic symptoms of real deep heartbreak. Or can't connect to God, simply cannot embrace any kind of concept of something larger than ourselves that is spiritual or mystical or divine in nature. I don't mean religion so much, although that could, of course, figure in as well. But really, and in fact, a lot of people have heartbreaks with traditional religions or a particular spiritual path for one reason or another, or have a heartbreak with God. If someone was subjected to trauma at a very young age, the cry from nature almost is, why did you do this to me? So that might also break someone's connection to a divine awareness. All of these would be symptoms of a much stronger, much more compelling underlying, let's call it, condition or disease called heartbreak. 90% of people on this planet are suffering from the primordial, the primal, the major disease, heartbreak, from which everything else is coming. All the physical problems, all the emotional problems, the mental health issues, and so on. Everything, if you trace it back, the number one origin point is some pretty intense heartbreak, probably as a child or a young person. And of course, there's a lolcat. If I gives you my heart, will you promise not to break it? Yeah, no guarantees, right? And heartbreak itself, okay, we can all trace from our youth and our childhood where the series of heartbreaks may have begun. However, there is a kind of ultimate heartbreak in this planet for every person, every incarnate soul who's walking around. What is that ultimate heartbreak? I love this quote from Baha'u'llah, the founder of the Baha'i spiritual path. So powerful is the light of unity that it can illuminate the whole earth. That's the ideal of divine consciousness, of divine unity, of real yoga unity with God, with the divine presence. Or what's the opposite of that? The ultimate heartbreak, the illusion that we are in fact separate from God. I think some famous, beautiful character said, "You are the light of the world." So what do we do about this illusion that we are separate from God? How did we get here, and how do we repair this? And especially this illusion that we're separate comes even stronger about the divine feminine, or the divine mother, as the Vedic tradition would say. There's this incredible break from that. Most of the westernized religions don't even include any reference or whiff of the divine feminine or the divine mother. And then, that's the origin point of all of our souls, is the divine feminine, the force. So if we don't remember where we came from, and we have trouble retracing that on a deep interior level, that would be a big pain, right? Every child has the right to know its real mother, and every soul on this planet likewise has the right to know where we came from on the fundamental foundational level. When we don't know that, it's a kind of big heartbreak, a heartbreak of separation. So how can we reconnect with the divine feminine, with divine mother, and that part of ourselves that is feeling a little bit like a lost soul in this creation? Through the doorway of the Holy Womb Chakra. Fantastic. So here we are at the subject now. This is a 7,000-year-old yantra depiction of what the Holy Womb Chakra actually looks like. It's a 7,000-year-old technology from ancient India. Oh, indeed. So where did this knowledge come from? I'm so glad you asked. From a phenomenal top spiritual healing master who was known as a miracle healing saint named Sri Kaleshwar, and his beautiful place called Penukonda, an ancient mystery power place, which you can see there in the photograph. And yes, that's me with Sri Kaleshwar back in the day. The many years I lived in South India training with him. This knowledge comes from the ancient saints from millennia ago that they kindly wrote down on books made out of dried palm leaves. And you can see one of these palm leaf manuscripts there. That book is a couple thousand years old. The ancient rishis, the ancient researchers, or the ancient saints, literally dried out the palm leaves themselves and then pinpricked. It wasn't even like writing on parchment or something. It was more like tattooing. Meticulously diagrams and whole mantra formulas and all of the ancient knowledge, the angelic and the divine knowledge that is the birthright of humanity. They wrote on these beautiful palm leaf manuscripts that were dried and preserved in a way that would last for millennia. There was a technology about that. This is Sri Kaleshwar reading one of a palm leaf book, one of many that he had, in which he would research on the problems facing humanity today and decipher what they had written in these kind of coded palm leaf books, and then test it out and then give it to his students to practice these beautiful technologies from these palm leaf books. As you can see, the handwriting is quite small in there. Some of these books are written in such tiny characters that you literally need a magnifying glass to be able to read them. And these books include knowledge about Mother Divine. So the Mother Divine, and this is again from a rather ancient palm leaf manuscript. Here she is showing all of her different chakras. She is the foundation of the spiritual understanding in Vedic India. There are two energies in our planet. One is Shiva, the God the Father, the infinity of God, and the other is Shakti, the energy in motion, the power, the force, if you will, of the divine energy. This is a close-up of Mother Divine's face from that palm leaf book. And these books include how the divine feminine operates. They were quite explicit about how to access the energy, the power of the divine feminine, the power of the creation energy, the power of miraculous or supernatural energy. It's all detailed in these ancient manuscripts, including the womb chakra energy. After many, many teachings, oh my gosh, and many, many years, Sri Kaleshwar gave this knowledge back to humanity, the technology of the womb chakra. In 2006, it was released again to the world after having been hidden and really kept very protected and secure and sacred by the saints of India over the last several thousand years. This is from 2006. This is the first workshop that Jonathan Rosen, my former partner with whom we started UCBK, and I had the privilege and the great honor to teach this system in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California back in the day in 2006. Pretty amazing. So this is some of the points, not all, because it's an exhaustive system with a lot of a lot of subtlety and a lot of technology in it. But here are the sort of bullet points. All human beings have a womb chakra. This is a big shock to all of us, especially people who are now born with a womb, you know, the men especially. Women have a direct link through the physicalized womb area. Whereas men link through their birth mothers. That's to say the womb that created them. Linked to what? Linked to the divine feminine, linked to the creation force from which we came, linked to the, you could call the womb chakra of Mother Divine, of the universe itself, is the feeling. The womb chakra is beyond all chakras. Direct quote from Sri Kaleshwar. We asked him, is it the second chakra? That's widely called the sex chakra in the West. He said no. the womb chakra literally is sitting a little bit behind, physicalized, behind the conventional chakras that we see in books and so on. And it is it's roughly where a human female's physicalized womb would be. Or there's also a component of the womb chakra that simply belongs to the soul, like it's in the soul, which is a mystical statement. I'm not sure I understand that, but just to put that out there as well. So what is in the womb chakra? Number one, it is the place in the human energy system where our karmas are stored from lifetime to lifetime. And we'll revisit that subject in a minute. But karma, as we started at the beginning, where the dramas and the big ups and downs are coming from, they're actually stored in this crazy thing called the womb chakra. Every human being carries this, our karmic, you could call it the balance sheet of fortunate and unfortunate karmas, our actions and the reactions that are associated with them. From lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime, we have the same womb chakra. It's simply accruing the balance sheet of our karma, stuff we did, good and bad. Also in the womb chakra, it's a direct link to Mother Divine and her creation ability. It is a direct link to the miraculous spiritual energy. So, for example, when you see a saint or you hear about someone in antiquity doing miracles, it means they had a very strong, very purified womb chakra, is the idea. The womb chakra changes, it flips how desire generates results from normal external expressed desire, which is the root of all attachment, which is the root of all suffering, according to the Buddha. Our desires generally make us do things in the exterior world. It could be something as simple as I'm hungry, I want to eat, right? So the desire, the impulse of I want then moves to I need to get something to eat. And so in any kind of desire, I want this, I want that, I want this sort of a lifestyle, so I'm going to work very hard, right, to gain that. Or maybe I love art, I want to collect it, so I'm going to go and find a place where I find art pieces. Our desires go into the normal field of activity and generate both action and reaction in the normal field of activity, but also material results. We achieve or we don't achieve the things that we want. It's all in the field of the external. That's where 90% of humanity is operating, and that's also where so much of the suffering is coming from. However, when the desire is coming upward, and it's a desire for divine things, for miraculous things, for more refined desires, then the results are different. They turn into supernatural results, not what we would call the more natural plane. That turning point resides in the womb chakra. How desire can flip from external or expression and gratification or not to more of a consciousness gratification, if you will. Also implied in that is, let's see, powerful healing capabilities also in the womb chakra. I mean, and by that I mean really miraculous healing capabilities. The real benefit is how to grow the womb as a holy place. On the planet, the womb means the most beautiful temple, the most holy place in your body, the most energy place in your body, the most clarity place in your body. From Sri Kaleshwar. So the idea is to create a super strong, powerful womb chakra again. Why wouldn't it be super strong or powerful? Because it gets damaged and disturbed through the different things that we've done over many, many lifetimes, and certainly in the course of this lifetime. How does the womb chakra get disturbed? A couple main ways that occurs. The first is anytime you receive heartbreak of any kind, or you create heartbreak in another person of any kind. That includes past or present lives. So if you scope back, maybe you look at this lifetime and you didn't go out of your way to hurt anybody's feelings or break any hearts. However, nonetheless, it might have happened without your conscious awareness or without your real notice that somebody got hurt somewhere. It's not uncommon, unfortunately. Or it might have been conscious, perhaps you were young and wounded and felt like hurting someone else, or, things happen in the course of our lives that are perhaps unfortunate choices with respect to other people. Those add up. Those heartbreaks that we cause, maybe it was a bad breakup from a marriage or a significant relationship. That's definitely going to cause heartbreak, even I think under the best of circumstances. Or you've received really intense heartbreak in your life, ranging from loss, disappointment, betrayal, romantic heartbreak, and so on. But also from past lives. It's really awkward that we don't remember the majority of our past lives. In one way, that's a blessing because many of them were a lower evolution than the one we currently find ourselves in. So it would be pretty overwhelming, for example, were you to suddenly remember that you had been one of Genghis Khan's hordes, conquering the eastern part of Europe, or the Roman Empire, a member of that, raping and pillaging your way across continental Europe, or the Vikings, or whatever, like human history is one of genocide and war generally, so, and slavery. Or so many, many, many souls have been on the wrong side of all of those kinds of activities, which is, of course, creating massive heartbreaks in the hearts of people who are on the receiving end of those kinds of horrible things. So it's a mercy in a way that we don't remember any of that. Like I still feel guilty about something I did in third grade that hurt somebody's feelings. I can't imagine carrying, lifetimes worth of really intense, violent, vicious, murderous behavior into this lifetime and actually remembering that. I think we'd be so paralyzed with guilt and shame that we would actually probably never do anything. So in a sense, it is a mercy on that level that we don't remember. The frustrating part is we are reaping the karmic or reflections, the reactions to those actions that we performed that we don't remember. And that gets very confusing and very painful. Or however, this is the classic explanation about the womb chakra. It gets disturbed via heartbreaks that we have caused or received now or at any time in our past lives. And also, curiously enough, through sexual union. How does that disturb the womb chakra? Well, because during sexual union, souls merge together. Even if it was only one time, even if perhaps you didn't know the person's name, it doesn't matter, your souls have merged. Once the souls have merged through the 5 elements melding together in the sexual union, now there's always a little bit of that soul's energy with you, no matter where you go in your life or what you experience. So let's say somebody had multiple partners, and some of those included relationships that didn't end well. Or perhaps every time that person is thinking on you, let's say you initiated a breakup, they're angry and they're hurt, and this may go on for years. That has an effect on your womb chakra. It has an effect on this holy place in your system that is supposed to be very stable and very powerful and a direct link to the cosmic energy. But now it's all shaking because somebody is thinking badly on you and they have that extra link that there was a sexual union there. Okay, multiply that times 5 or 10 or 20, or there were the 60s after all, 100 or hundreds. I've had professional athletes as healing clients who have had 1,000+ sexual partners. And here's the thing: if those other people that one had sexual union with, if they are happy and feeling good, then you're feeling also happy and pretty good. If they're upset, angry, depressed, it's possible for you to be feeling all of that and having absolutely no conscious awareness of why you're feeling so crappy. There's so much cross interference from all the souls that we have merged with that it's very hard to sort out exactly where you are. And the kicker is this: the soul itself, our soul, this delicate flame that mostly lives at the heart of a human being, there is this idea that it can traverse through the different chakras in the human system, and majority of the time it is spending its time in the womb chakra area, in the link of the womb chakra to the cosmic universal creation energy. It's as if you made a beautiful temple, or you would like to have a beautiful temple where you have like a deity in that temple, a statue, right? That would be, in this case, your soul in a beautiful energy temple in your own system. Unfortunately, the walls are caving in and the floor isn't steady and the foundation is shaky. So it means that it's a very unstable temple there that the soul is residing in, which means that the soul is kind of confused. It doesn't know where or how to reconnect in a clear way to the cosmic energy, to the Divine Mother. And it, because it's so, what's the word I'm looking for? Because it's so kind of overwhelmed with all the cross interference from all the sexual partners, even from the past, that adds layers and layers and layers of confusion to the soul itself. So it doesn't even know which womb it really belongs in, if it's merged with quite a number of souls through sexual union. So the deck is pretty good stacked against us, you might say, between receiving heartbreaks, creating heartbreaks, and having sexual union. Our womb chakras on this planet are quite disturbed, and I think we can see that the general feeling of the planet as a whole, as humanity as a whole, reflects that. There's a lot of disturbance and confusion and violence and strange behavior going on our planet, I would say, as a result of the primordial heartbreak that everyone's experiencing, and then the piling on of these layers, karmic and even from past lives, that are showing up as disturbances in the womb chakras. So we desperately need to heal the womb chakras in this world. It's a big deal. So what is the benefit when you have a strong, powerful womb chakra? Well, you can be like her. This is one depiction of the Mother Divine in the Vedic tradition from India, shown here as like a Durga, the mother who's going into battle armed with many weapons. She has many arms, she has many weapons. What are those weapons? Each one of them is a category of supernatural ability to destroy negativity. So when you have a strong, powerful womb chakra, you are like a creator character, able to wield gracefully the mystical and the supernatural and the high consciousness energy, just for example. When you have a strong, powerful womb chakra, you can wash out heartbreak from your own system and by extension from the systems of others. Automatically, you can heal diseases. It's interesting when someone comes, let's say a small child, like 5 years old, comes up with a terminal cancer of some kind. We would say, well, they didn't do anything in this lifetime. They're totally innocent. Children, they're not creating karma. And how can we explain such a terrible thing happening to a very small child if we understand that the balance sheet of the womb chakra is keeping all track of the positive and negatives karmas that we have, which is to say the heartbreaks that we've created or received in past lives? Then it starts to make sense that that womb chakra is spitting out that configuration of karmic, like debt, you could say. It's a big bill that soul would have to pay, a bill of responsibility for heartbreaks they caused in previous lifetimes. And it's manifesting as this disease right now with a 5-year-old child. If you understand the mechanism of the womb chakra, you can actually reverse, you can actually heal that damage to that womb chakra, and thus heal the cancer. My master Sri Kaleshwar was known for healing terminal cancers within a few minutes. And part of that technology was that he saw what's in that womb chakra and how to effect it. You can heal negative thinking and behaviors. This also goes for each of us, for ourselves as well, right? We can have this incredible strength internally and this phenomenal resilience that comes with a strong, powerful womb chakra to be able to wash these things out of our system where they really kind of don't belong. We can wash out relationship dramas or fix existing relationships through some of the techniques and technologies of a strong womb chakra. We can connect to the Mother Divine directly. And I can say via Sri Kaleshwar that one of the highest experiences in spirituality that is available to human beings is this capacity to see and interact with the Mother Divine, regardless of form. She's universal. She's in all the religions, actually, in all the spiritual paths. There's some understanding of the divine feminine, whether she's anthropomorphized or not. But whether we call her Kali or Isis or Mother Mary or Hecate or whatever, mother is mother. But the experience of seeing her in person, of having a face-to-face, eyes open, not a meditation, not a vision, not a hallucination, but actually experiencing that creation force of energy that we call the divine feminine in a form, standing as material as I am, speaking with us and interacting with us and blessing us. That is possible. Many of Kalashwar's students experience such a thing in India and outside of India as well. And that is possible when you have a strong, powerful womb chakra. It's called darshan, seeing Mother Divine directly. When you have a strong, powerful womb chakra, it automatically yields increased soul power and clarity. It's also makes it possible to find the proper soul mate, literally to make your soul kind of naked. It's a very interesting statement. This was from Sri Kalashwar when he gave the initial teaching about the womb chakra in 2006. I will give the channel today to make your soul naked. You will only have the feeling in your womb for like a soulmate. Means that your system, when it's very strong, when your womb chakra is very strong and powerful, you will only attract the person to you who is your proper soulmate. And soulmate doesn't necessarily mean a romantic partner or a married partner. Soulmate can be someone's kid or a good friend or like a teacher-student relationship. It can be a lot of different characters, but it's very important in this planet to find a proper soulmate. And in this particular context, Sri Kalashwar was mentioning like that feeling in your womb for a soulmate means lesser partners they just won't even make the cut. You won't be attracted, they won't be attracted like that. So that's a really important thing, how to find one's proper soulmate. And when he's talking about a soulmate, he doesn't mean like this kind of new age concept of that. It's literally a soul relationship, a relationship that exists so that both people can help the other attain the high consciousness as quickly as possible, and an understanding of the divinity and what the role in this world of spirituality is, for example. So what else is the benefit of a strong, powerful womb chakra? You can use the sexual union energy to heal relationships. There are literally technologies in this system called the womb chakra system, which I'll talk about in a moment, that involve that kind of healing at a profound foundational level. You can also create divine babies and children straight from the womb. This is, by the way, the technology that Mother Mary used to create Jesus, or the whole concept of the Immaculate Conception, a conception that didn't have sex involved in it. Yeah, that's actually possible. Women can create life in this planet without having sexual union with the men because of this mystical property of the womb chakra. So that's kind of interesting. Yes, it's very interesting. The women in this time cycle do not need the male energy to create. However, the men really do need the women. So pretty amazing technology there in the womb. And of course, if you have a really strong womb chakra, you are able to do healing miracles in this world. That's powerful. What's the benefit of a strong, powerful womb chakra? Yeah, so this, I think many people know, this is a Pieta. It's a sculpture from Michelangelo. It is in the Vatican, actually. And Pieta is widely regarded as a sad sight, that it's the Mother Mary after Christ was taken off the cross, and she's, they say, grieving this apparent death of her son. However, if you study her face closely, you'll see that she's actually in a kind of bliss state. And if you pay more attention, if you see where he is across her body, she has him draped precisely across her womb chakra. Or I would offer this is the moment when Mother Mary is bringing Christ back to life after the crucifixion. She actually played an enormous role in the, what they call in Christianity, the resurrection of Christ. She had the technology of a strong womb chakra. She knew exactly the channel to bring his particular soul back into his particular body. And as a mother, she has that right. She carried him in her womb, her physical womb. She has the ability and the capacity to command that soul to come back into the body. And indeed, she did that. My personal feeling is that Michelangelo himself must have seen a vision of this in order to carve it. He was quite young when he did this astounding statue. Sri Kaleshwar actually visited the Vatican on a number of occasions and said, this is the most powerful power object. And there are many power objects there in the Vatican. He said, this is absolutely the most powerful. And he went further to say that anyone who has a photograph of this statue in their home, there will be no heartbreak in that house. That's how powerful this moment is, and how powerful this womb chakra of this incredible mother is, to have brought such a soul back to life again. So if we have a strong, powerful womb chakra, all things are possible. Sri Kaleshwar also mentioned that Mother Mary and Jesus have the two strongest womb chakras that our world has ever seen. So that tells us a lot also about the caliber of the miracles that Jesus was reputed to have done. Absolutely, he did them and more. Coming from this power of this incredible womb chakra, and also drawing on the energy of his own mother's womb chakra in order to be able to create in the way that the whole divine feminine force in our universe creates. What's the benefit of a strong, powerful womb chakra? Miracles. So this is actually Sri Kaleshwar himself in, I believe, 1997 or 98, but I think it was 97, in Marin County in California, where he had a group of, he wanted serious meditators and healers there. So about 40 people showed up that day, many of whom were pretty banged up over their lives in spirituality and as healers. And there were a lot of chronic illnesses and intensely painful situations there. One man was a construction worker who had fallen off of a roof and really had a compound fracture on his leg with, pins in place and the whole thing. And that man was still in a lot of pain. It was very hard for him to walk. And Kaleshwar on that day, he had a rose in his hand. He ignited it spontaneously with his intention, simply to ignite the rose, which was this moment that the photographer captured. Kaleshwar had shot him a look right before the rose actually caught fire, as if to say, hey, get this photograph. This is really important. So the rose ignited, it caught into full flame in his hand. It burnt to nothing in his hand except ash, did not burn his hand. And he used that ash that day on the third eye to put on the foreheads of everyone who was there to transmit the healing. And the chronic diseases disappeared. The man who had extraordinary pain, his pain was removed. That guy went to India intending to stay a few months, and he wound up staying, I think about 15 years, learning and training with Sri Kaleshwar. So that kind of command of nature, the command of the 5 elements of nature, the command over the fire element that you're seeing there in the photograph, which has not been enhanced, I should probably say, no Photoshop, no special effects, no anything. But that kind of commanding of the elements is the miraculous nature, and is possible when you have a very strong, powerful womb chakra. So final benefit on our bullet point list of benefits of the womb chakra, you start to know who you really are. That's important. What's the benefit of a strong, powerful womb chakra? Again, this is Sri Kaleshwar. This was in India outside a fire homa, a ceremony. We did many in India with him. And he had walked outside with a coconut in his hand. That's what he has in the raised hand, making a deep intention before he's going to break the coconut and sort of break the grip of the illusion by shattering the elements that are represented in the coconut in nature, to make that intention really go out into the world. As he's making the intention, a friend of mine caught this digital photograph, again, not at all enhanced. You can see the light coming out of his hand, one level, and then there's this other blaze of light right about here, kind of like where the womb chakra energy would be. I should say that the sash he's wearing, the scarf that's tied around his waist, it's the same color all the way through here, but that light is so blinding that it's obscuring the brightness of that scarf around his waist. So when I saw this photograph, I thought, wow, that's like seeing the womb chakra emanation there. Oh my God, powerful energy, right? You can actually see it in the photograph. What's the benefit of a strong, powerful womb chakra? This was me many years ago, meditating and using specifically the energy related to the womb chakra to send a distance healing to someone. So how does the womb chakra get healed? I'm so glad you asked. There are a number of ways. By doing the womb chakra process, which I'll explain in a minute, it's a system of mantras and drawing that diagram, that yantra of the womb chakra in a specific kind of way over a period of time. And through doing the meditations associated with that process, it's strengthening and purifying and healing the womb chakra in, again, both men and women. Everybody has a womb chakra. Women have it directly as a direct line to the cosmic creation energy, which enables women to create a soul in the womb chakra, i.e. to make babies, whereas men are one step removed. They connect through the womb chakra in their system through their birth mothers. In other words, through the womb that created them. And it's very interesting, you know, when Swami Kaleshwar first shared this technology in 2006 with his students, some of the German students wanted to teach webinars and seminars about this technology in Germany. And it turned out, I guess there's no polite word in German for womb. It's either medical or it's an insult. And they came to Kaleshwar and they said, we need a different word. Can you describe something more or give us a different way to title our seminars so that we can share this information, but not make it sound crude, I guess. And he thought for a moment and he said, tell the Germans to call it the making a soul chakra, the creating a soul chakra. So that tells us quite a lot about the creation abilities, the healing and the miraculous nature that is contained in the womb chakra. So by doing the womb chakra process itself, the system of mantras and meditations to heal and strengthen the womb chakra, that's one way to do it. Another way to get a strong and healed womb chakra quickly is to do 9 womb chakra healings. Sri Kaleshwar gave a handful of us the technology that within 9-minute sessions, and they are hands-on, so but that we could be able to heal the womb chakra in another person, like to do a complete reset of the womb chakra, which is great. And so I'll talk more about that in a minute. And finally, there is the option to do it through a fire homa, to have the womb chakra strengthened and purified in one go through a fire ceremony. And if you're interested in that, you should contact me directly and we can talk about that a little bit more. So let's talk about the womb chakra process itself. It's a beautiful, as I said, 7,000-year-old technology. It involves learning this yantra, this diagram, how to draw it precisely. And then there are certain auspicious times to draw the yantra and practice it. And also there are prayers, mantras that go along with the womb chakra process that one can also practice. And it does involve drawing the yantra at least one time on a copper sheet. So there's a bit of a technology about it. These are photographs from workshops where people were in fact learning the technology and then drawing the yantra on a copper sheet. Hey, a strong purified womb chakra on the way there. A beautiful copper diagram there. So it's a beautiful system, and if you would like to know more about that, I will give you exactly a link to find a pre-recorded webinar so that you can get started on learning the womb chakra system and get on the way to getting a healed and purified womb chakra. Just before that, I want to offer you a mantra. This is straight out of the womb chakra technology, the 7,000-year-old system, about how to address this incredible energy structure in our system that desperately is crying out for healing and purification and kind of that reset feeling. So this mantra, you can use this mantra as a meditation, especially if you are experiencing or have ever experienced any kind of deep heartbreak. And again, heartbreak, it's not only romantic, it can involve loss, disappointment, betrayal, or anything that has sent somebody reeling, in heart pain, in shock. And this mantra is incredibly helpful for smoothing over all of that kind of disturbance to our souls and to our hearts. And the mantra itself is Om Kleem Ra Ra. Om Kleem Ra Ra. Very simple. Or I know it sounds simple. These are angelically infused syllables that are carrying an enormous amount of divine energy. So don't underestimate how simple these syllables sound. If you were to take this into your whatever meditation you might already be doing, simply add this mantra repetition to it. I think you'll find it's a caliber of meditation that goes incredibly deep, incredibly quickly, and does start to bring the layers and layers and layers of relief to the heart and to soothe the emotional disturbances and difficulty that you might be facing. So you can use it as a formal meditation. You can also use it as a background thought all the time. If you're doing anything that doesn't require your full attention, let's say you're driving or vegging out on YouTube, or doing something that doesn't require your full focus and concentration, you can have Om Kleem Ra Ra running as a repetitive mantra in the back of your mind. Om Kleem Ra Ra, Om Kleem Ra Ra, Om Kleem Ra Ra. And that also will help on a daily basis to help, let's say, burn through different layers of heartbreak and of pain that may be really oppressing you. It's also highly advisable to use this mantra should you be in the throes of a heartbreak right now, like it's fresh. And every time the feelings come up, you know how they kind of bubble up for a while and then maybe you get distracted and do other things, but there's always that gnawing potential for, again, a welling up of that pain when it comes up like waves in our system. When you feel that wave starting, or if you're in the midst of it, you can take this mantra into that, as if begging the universe for relief, and using this tool as a doorway into that relief, and as an experiment to see if you start using this, even though the feelings are very strong, very painful, does it bring relief? This is a kind of spiritual science. It's a research project. So each of us is experimenting in our own laboratory of our own system. Is this really true? Does this kind of mantra technique really work? I can say, after having shared this for, let's see, we're going on 17 years now, since 2006, 16 years, sorry, that yes, it is dramatic. But don't take my word for it. One should never just take somebody's word for something. Try it yourself and see, especially if you're in the throes of a fresh or recent heartbreak. And I hope that it will help you enormously. So I thought I should share that with everybody, so you have a tool and you can experience something of the flavor of this very, very deep womb chakra system. So if you would like to learn more or about pursuing the womb chakra system itself, with the meditations and the drawing the yantra and all like that, the womb chakra process is what it's called. Or if you'd like to find out more about receiving womb chakra healings, you can find us at ucbk.org. And I'll show you a little bit on the website where you can find these things, because it might prove to be a little bit trickier than one would think. So if you go to, if you'd like to find out about getting a pre-recorded version of the webinar of the womb chakra process, whole ins and outs of the system, a whole manuscript that goes along with it, it's quite a dense teaching from Sri Kaleshwar. He didn't exactly spoon feed. I think he left it to his student teachers to spoon feed, or at least to make sense out of some of the intensely mystical information that he was sharing. So there's a lengthy manuscript, there's the diagram of the womb chakra yantra itself, and then I talk everybody through the exact steps, how to do the whole process. and how to do it successfully. So you can go to ucbk.org and then click on under events. You'll see that yellow menu item, and then you pull down that menu and go to online workshops. And under online workshops, there's a whole page of incredible pre-recorded all kinds of stuff from this tradition. So you're going to scroll down on the online workshops page to the power of the Holy Womb Chakra, and then click there, and you will find the details about how to purchase that pre-recorded webinar, and you'll be sent the webinar recording plus all the appropriate PDF documents that correspond with it. So that's how to get the Womb Chakra Process webinar and start learning and practicing this technology to get a strong, clear, and purified womb chakra. And I have to say, the results are fairly dramatic from that Womb Chakra process, because it takes about 6 months to see the dramatic results, and you'll be practicing it for quite some time. There's a lot of mantras in there that require a lot of meditation over time to build the energy to strengthen and purify the womb chakra. But I saw in the first round of students that we taught in Santa Cruz back in 2006, phenomenal changes in people almost instantly, and in surprising ways. There was one lady, she was at that time in her 50s, and her mother just kind of didn't like her. There were 2 daughters. My friend was the younger of the 2, and the older sister was a type A, very achieving, had enormous prosperity, a really strong corporate presence and life. And her mother would hold up the older sister as the example of what you should be. And the younger daughter was kind of, she moved to the beat of her own drummer, She was in the rock and roll industry and had a child quite young. And so her mother just kind of regarded her not so warmly. Anyway, so my friend started doing the womb chakra process and following the mantras and doing the yantra drawing and burning it on particular days as the instructions go. And after some months, she went to visit her parents who lived kind of close by, and she came back with this funny look on her face, and she said, I'm not entirely sure what just happened, but this woman who looks like my mother gave me a huge hug as I left my parents and told me that she loved me. And she said, I don't think I have heard my mother say, I love you to me since probably I was a little kid. So this was a woman in her mid-50s, and she was absolutely shocked at the changes in her mother. And if you think about it from the womb chakra, as we practice and strengthen our own womb, the womb that gave birth to us also receives that benefit. And in fact, ultimately, when your womb chakra is very strong and very purified, it begins to purify all the wombs all the way back to the beginning. So your mother, her mother, and thus backwards. So that was really dramatic. And my friend thought about it and said, I think it's this womb chakra thing. That is amazing. So over the years, her mother, who's now I think in her 90s, has dropped an enormous amount of anxiety, an enormous amount of like compulsive, controlling behaviors, and has just gotten more and more and more relaxed over the years that her daughter has been doing this process. Amazing. So, doing the process definitely requires a little bit of discipline in the beginning and a little bit of patience to let the energy start to build so that you get to see the results. But the results are extraordinary, actually. And I can say that having done it in 2006 myself, I felt it instantly and don't think I've ever been the same since the womb chakra got stronger and stronger and stronger. Definitely the old heartbreaks washed out. The sense of resilience is so strong that something will happen now in my life where I'll feel, that probably, had that happened 20 years ago, it might have set me back quite a while to recoup and process and go through the throes of a really intense heartbreak and the emotional washing that occurs around such a thing. And I'll see it hit, and I'll feel the sting, and I'll look at the event, and I'll think, okay, all right, that happened. And then it's as if it doesn't really touch my deepest core nature. It doesn't throw me off. It doesn't mean I don't feel it, but it means it doesn't throw me off in a way that a real heartbreak could take 5 or even 10 years to recover from. So I credit that very strongly to the power of the womb chakra. And I hope that you'll practice it and see what's there for you. So there's that. And then the other possibility is if you'd like to receive the 9 womb chakra healings, you can again go to the UCBK.org website. This time you're going to go under the healings section or menu item, and you will see private healing with Alx. And there is, when you click on that, there's a whole menu selection, and you can see getting the womb chakra healings. The caveat to the womb chakra healings is they need to be done in person, hands-on. So if you're not able to come to a place where I am, which is usually Los Angeles, California, or if we are not able to meet somewhere for you to receive those hands-on healings, I can also point you to people in your area who have that capacity. So don't despair. And you can always practice the whole womb chakra system on your own. It will have the same results, actually, and more, because then you'll know all of the different prayers and mantras to use for healing yourself and for other people as well, and have access to all of that technology. So don't despair if you're not local to the California or Los Angeles area. And certainly don't despair, because I also have colleagues all over the world who can help. So that's not a problem. You can definitely get those healings one way or another. And I think that's it. Yes. So blessing you all a healthy, strong womb chakra. And thank you so much for listening to my presentation. And I hope it helps. And I hope it inspires you to take up this very, very deep, unbelievably powerful practice to strengthen your womb chakra and get healthier and more resilient and more relaxed and more powerful as a human being and as a soul who came here to do whatever it is that you came to do. The empowerment for that is much more likely when you have a strong womb chakra, and don't get thrown off by all the different emotions and distractions and difficulties that can come in our way as human beings. Thank you. And yes, don't forget, subscribe to our YouTube channel for more such videos. There's all kinds of great things on this channel, and there will be more in the future. I think the subscribe thing now is straight down as opposed to over on the side where it used to be, but regardless, wherever it is, please hit subscribe, because the more subscribers we have, the more this kind of information can get out to the world and to the people who most need it. So thank you so much, and have a blessed time. Please find us at ucbk.org, and namaste.